Hello, book friends. The long, cold, dark winter days are upon us, and I thought today I would come in here and share with you 6 shorter books that I think would make for perfect long winter's day reading. Hello, I'm Jen, and welcome back to my reading life. I have talked in the past about how during the winter months, I am often drawn to big, chunky, long books that I can really settle in with during the long winter days. But on the flip side of that, I am oftentimes drawn to very short books where I can read them just in 1 or 2 days or over a long weekend. And I think these types of books can sometimes be the perfect cure for the winter doldrums. My first recommendation is a novella that was very popular when it first came out. It's been almost 20 years now, but I don't often hear it talked about anymore, and I still think it makes a wonderful read, and that is The Uncommon Reader by Alan Bennett. This is a lovely novella for book lovers and Anglophiles. So if those 2 things check your boxes, then definitely check this book out. This is the story of Queen Elizabeth II, and she stumbles one day upon a mobile library, and she wanders in with her corgis, of course, and she ends up checking out books, and she becomes a regular visitor to this library, and we follow along as she discovers a joy of reading, as it changes her, as it shapes who she is and her vision of the world. And I just love this. It's so charming, and it kind of just gives you a different look at maybe who you think Queen Elizabeth was, and maybe this will give you just a little bit of an alternative to what she might have been like in real life. And I would love it if she was like the Queen Elizabeth in this book, but it is a lovely little novella. If you've never read it, I highly recommend it. My second book had a resurgence not too long ago because there was a movie remade of it, and it was a lovely remake, but the book is, of course, I think, even better, and that is Mrs. Arris Goes to Paris by Paul Gallico. And this is the story of Mrs. Arris. She's a charwoman, and she sees this beautiful dress, beautiful gown in the homes of one of the families that she cleans for. Belongs to this wealthy woman, and she dreams of getting herself I believe it's a Dior dress just like this one. And so she starts saving all of her pennies so that she can go to Paris and get herself this dress. And we follow along with the story of Mrs. Arris and what happens to her and whether or not she does get the dress in the end. And it's just so lovely and charming, and I adored it. There is a sequel to this, which is Mrs. Arris Goes to New York, I believe it's called. I haven't read that one yet, but I love Mrs. Arris Goes to Paris. I found this lovely vintage edition and so thrilled to have this on my bookshelf. But yes, if you've never read this one, definitely give it a read. I highly recommend it. The most recent movie version of it was also very fun, beautifully filmed, has a wonderful soundtrack, so you can watch it for those reasons, if nothing else. But this is just a charming and uplifting read. Next up, I have 2 mysteries, and I love mysteries. I find them so readable. It just keeps me turning the pages, and sometimes in the winter months, that's exactly what you need. And my first book is going to take you to a very snowy climate, and my second book is going to help you escape from winter. But first up, I am going to recommend Patricia Moy's Dead Men Don't Ski. And this is the first book in the Henry Tibbetts mystery series. Now, I haven't read the entire series, but I've read a few books from it. I very much enjoy Henry Tibbett. His wife often plays a role in these mysteries, and they often take place in kind of exotic locales where Henry is on vacation from Scotland Yard. And this one's no exception. In this, we are in, I believe it's the Italian Alps in this one, yes. And he and his wife are there on a skiing vacation, and they're staying at this resort that is very isolated. You have to take like a ski lift up to it, even from the village that is nearby. And while they are staying there, having their holiday, there is a guest at the hotel who is alive at the top of the chairlift. And when he arrives at the bottom, he is dead. And so Henry kind of takes it amongst himself to help solve this mystery and find out who murdered this man. And of course, the Italian police are involved. And if you know anything about the Italian police force, there's a lot of corruption and things going on there, so that plays into things. But these are set in the 1950s, I believe. This one was published in 1959, so late 50s, early 60s, and then I think into the 70s for this series. But if that sounds appealing to you, I really enjoyed this mystery, and I think it's a great introduction to the series. And Henry and his wife are very engaging characters, and so it was just fun to go along with them on a holiday ski trip gone awry. And my second mystery is also the first book in a series, one of my very favorite series of all time now. And this one isn't going to take us to a cold, snowy location, but instead is going to take us to sunny and warm Mexico City. And that is The Unexpected Mrs. Pollifax by Dorothy Gilman. And this is the first book in the Mrs. Pollifax mystery series. I only have a few books left to read. I was going to try to finish it last year in 2025, and I didn't. Part of me, I think, is having that like angst about completing it and then being done with the Mrs. Pollifax series, and I don't want to be done, but it'll be okay. I am going to finish it this year. I just love Mrs. Pollifax so very much, and this first book is such a whirlwind of a ride. Just start this, go into it, know you're gonna love Mrs. Pollifax. I mean, who doesn't love a woman who in her 60s, she's widowed, she has grown children and grandchildren, takes it upon herself to go into the CIA and offer up her services. And then they take her up on that, and she becomes a courier for the CIA, and you follow along with what happens. I just love this series so much. So very fun. Definitely start with book one, but if you need to escape from wherever you are, wherever it might be cold and snowy or rainy or overcast and gray, go along with Mrs. Pollifax to Mexico City. Next up is a novel that is a spinster novel. So if that is something that intrigues you, then stay tuned. This book is by the author of one of my favorite books from 2025, which was actually a coming of age story. So this, we sort of have the opposite end. We have these two older women. Well, one of them's older, one of them's a little bit younger, but they are both spinsters. And so definitely not coming of age, though we're sort of coming into an understanding of both of them in this book, and that is Miss Plum and Miss Penny by Dorothy Evelyn Smith. And in this, we follow Miss Penny, and she's middle-aged, and she's just going along about her life. And she's out one day, and she stumbles upon Miss Plum and saves her from drowning in a duck pond. That's all I'll say about that. She takes her home with her, and Miss Plum just kind of inserts herself into Miss Penny's life, and we follow along with these two very different women, and it might drive you a little bit crazy, but I think the comedy derived from sort of having your peaceful life shaken up, I think you might enjoy this. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'm just going to read you this little quote that Dean Street Press has here at the top of the back cover. It says, "I do not anticipate for one moment that Miss Plum has been murdered, though I should have some slight sympathy with her assassin if she had." So if that intrigues you, definitely give Miss Plum and Miss Penny a read. It's a little dark, it's a little funny, but it is very, very readable. And finally, I have a book which I've talked about before, but it is worth mentioning again. It is the start to a very long series, of which I am about 5 or 6 books into now and want to read to completion because it is wonderful. And that is High Rising by Angela Thirkell. And this is the start of her Barsetshire series, which is based in the same area as Anthony Trollope's Barsetshire Chronicles, though they have nothing to do with one another. In this first book, we're following Laura Moreland. She's a writer, and she and her youngest son, Tony, are heading off to their country home for the Christmas holiday season. And we just kind of follow along with them as they get immersed in the village life there. Laura kind of gets herself involved in the romantic entanglements of some of her friends in the village. And oh, it's just so much fun. It is set at the Christmas holidays, but you don't need to read it then. I think any time in winter is the perfect time for High Rising. You can then go on and read Christmas at High Rising, which is some short stories that follow on to High Rising, but I just love this. I love Laura Moreland so much. She is just such a wonderful character. She's so full of life and wit and charm, and the book has all of those things in abundance as well. And I just think you cannot go wrong with this one. It makes for a lovely short winter read. And that will do it. Those are my 6 recommendations for short reads for long winter days. I hope that maybe you have found something from this video that you can add to your own winter reading TBR, either this winter or an upcoming winter. I mean, you can really read these stories any time of year, but I think if you're looking for something to get you through the doldrums of winter, I think all of these stories are wonderful. They're engaging. They will sweep you away to somewhere else. And I hope that you find one here that you will love. Let us chat down in the comments. Did you find any books of these 6 that I mentioned that you would like to add to your own winter reading TBR? And what are some of the books that you enjoy reading that are short but would make for good long winter day reading? Let us share those down in the comments, and we can all add some books to our own personal winter TBRs. And if you're here, but you don't have anything you'd like to add in the comments, but you would like to let me know you were here because comments really do help my channel, why don't you leave, of course, a wintry emoji, snow, snowflake, snowman, whatever is wintry to you, leave those down in the comments. I love seeing those and knowing that you were here. And if you enjoyed this video, if you could hit that like button and also find that hype button if you're on the mobile app. I'll put it right here where you can find that box. Sometimes you have to swipe through the box to move from comments to hypes. And if you hit that hype button, it gives me some points, and it just helps YouTube to help other people find my videos. And I so appreciate that. And if you're new here and you haven't yet subscribed, I would love to have you join my cozy bookish community. And that is going to wrap it up for today. As always, I will be back soon with another video. And until then, I wish you a good book and a warm cuppa. Bye.